Welcome to Make Your Own Fun. I'm here with Lacey Ray Pawlowicz, and she is, amongst other things, let's see, we've got a dancer, a singer, an actor, a producer, human. Get that one in there,
Debatable.
right? Jury's still out. So, let's see. So most recently, I guess everybody can kind of see you on Alabama Snake on HBO Max, which is awesome. And then according to your website, some more recent stuff, we've got like 9 Ways to Hell, Banana Club. And I didn't know that you were in Sideways back in the day. That is awesome.
Yeah, how many years ago was that? 22 years or something?
Yeah, I mean, but that's such a classic. I mean, even to walk through a movie like that is like, I mean, to tell somebody like, oh, well, back in the day, you know.
I know. Snobby.
That's great. Okay, so I've got some questions here for you. We'll see where these take us. So, let's see. Let's start with this one. What experience when you were younger attracted you, like at first, to the performing arts? Can you remember, like, if it was any one thing?
I don't know that it was any one thing, but I do remember that I got started in dance. So that tap dancing specifically was my jam. I tried ballet, I tried jazz, I did baton, I did some other stuff, but tap was my thing because I liked the rhythm of it. And I liked that you didn't have to be pretty. Like ballet is very pretty. And tap, you can be pretty, but it's like, get into it, And from there, I transitioned into singing, which led to musical theater, which led to regular straight theater, which led to film and TV. So.
Awesome. I gotta say too, just as maybe I've seen the movie Black Swan too many times, but ballet dancers are kind of freaks because it's like to stand on your tippy toe, and those shoes are almost like
they ruin feet.
Horrible, like glass slipper kind of things, because it's like you got to contort your toes, and it's like I can't believe a lot of those women aren't like hobbled when they're older. It's just crazy.
So I never got into that. We do in tap, we do kind of do some stuff on our toes, but it's generally quick and not like that.
That we were like, will I walk tomorrow?
Yeah.
So looking at the IMDb here, I've seen you've done a lot of suspense and horror. So what about that genre kind of draws you to it, do you think?
I think it goes along with my love of musical theater. I like the heightened experiences. And I think it's two very different genres, musical and horror. It's like, but the stakes are so high. Yeah, I mean, there has been a couple, horror musicals, many, but yeah, there's something about the heightened experience that I would not really experience in real life.
God, I hope not.
So it's just, and it's fun to play, and I always liked Halloween and stuff like that. So it's just kind of, it was a natural sort of fit.
I can actually kind of see you having a lot of fun with something like Sweeney Todd.
Sweeney Todd, I really like, there's a musical with Minnie Driver and Meatloaf called Stage Fright. It's a relatively newer one. So that was really fun. There's like random ones, but yeah.
Nice. That's like your total jam. So, talking earlier about, being in films and things from so long back. So I always ask people if they've had kind of a longer career, what are some weird situations or like stunts or like audition stories? And I can even meet you halfway with some crazy stuff if you want me to.
Well, I mean, do you want one from with very limited budget? So 9 Ways to Hell, let's go with that one because that's the most recent one, and it just got picked up on streaming, so you can now watch 9 Ways to Hell on Typhoon on Demand. You can watch the whole thing.
Awesome. Congrats.
Thank you. So we were doing that, and that was a feature horror anthology based on Dante's Inferno. So we had 9 different directors and writers, and each one tackled a different circle of hell, and they made their own segment about it, and we put them together. But in shooting that, we had no budget. It was just all out of pocket. And so, we did the guerrilla thing where you go to maybe not the best areas at like 2 a.m.
Talking about grabbing some guerrilla takes and things like that. We've all been
we
there.
filmed next to a dump. Like we filmed in downtown LA, like in some really shady places, and we called it Poop Alley because it just smelled like poop. And we're just like, okay, let's just, and on that set also I had some heels, some platform heels, and I had to run in it. And one take my shoe broke and I just whiffed like hard. And of course it was in the middle of nowhere at 2 a.m. So somebody had to go try and find ice at like a McDonald's or something. So that was fun.
Have you ever, having done a lot of horror stuff, have you ever been like out in a forest and like one of the crew people get like turned around and lost, and like that's the person you need for that scene? That happened to me
No.
before. Yeah, we were doing a movie years ago called Resurrection Mary in Michigan, and so a lot of it was like the cemetery where this ghost would come out of the cemetery in her prom dress and like freak out people like walking or riding a bike or driving the car, and it would cause all these like accidents and deaths. Then like other parts of it were like right around like in the forest, and like the DP was just like, I just need to go use the restroom, man. I'm gonna go find a tree or something and get, I'll be back. I gotta go away from the lights of the set or whatever. So it's like an hour later, like, do we need to send out a search party? Like the guy cannot have to go that bad. And so here it was, like he walked and then he totally walked in a loop. And then we found out later that like, because we had our like cell phones on set, like locked down. So he had like walked to town and walked back, and then somebody was got in the car and they were going to do like a like you said, middle of the night, like because of the weird hours, like to pick up food or something, and they picked him up and he was just like, thank God. And like we were like sitting around for like 2 hours waiting for the guy, and he was just got lost trying to go to the bathroom behind a tree like 100 yards away.
Thankfully I've not shot in woods yet.
I mean, if you're in a horror movies, it has to happen some point, right?
I mean, that's not true. I was in a short where I was running around the park with a sword, which I
like
probably should have been doing.
Like you do. And they're like, I hope yeah, and I've had this experience, and I'm sure you have too, where you're doing stuff and filming or whatever, and then people are just like, movie or 911.
I haven't. Thankfully, we've always been very like stealth about it. So
well, I mean, it's like if you just come around a corner and there's like people just walking their dog, and they're just like, and you're like moving. They're like, you're good.
It's LA. They see a camera, it's fine.
Have you ever had any crazy auditions for stuff? Because back in the day, I mean, even before people knew like Craigslist was like a sleazoid like hangout, people would go there to find like gigs before there was like Mandy.com and there was like all these other like websites. But I mean, so usually it was just like some nondescript like office building, and it's got like a sign taped on the door, and there's like a line of people, and you get the sides. Then sometimes you go in the room and you were like, this is not what it was advertised to be.
When I was younger, so I would say middle school to high school, in that range, my mom, I got an audition or something, and I booked it, and my mom took me to it. The audition, I don't remember being anything one way or the other, but I just remember the experience. It was in this guy's disheveled house. And my mom was just like, should I leave you here? And it was just so uncomfortable. But I mean, I filmed it. It was fine. But it was just like, never again.
Yeah, not in somebody's house or apartment, unless you're already filming and it's just like the scene takes place there. But
and it was just the guy too.
Yeah.
And like, high school age was very strange.
Because I mean, and it would be like a double red flag if the guy was like, your mom can just go wait in the car. And you're like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. No, thankfully he was just weird and like trying to do his own stuff. And
I mean, I get that part of it, but you got to just consider like how that's going to come off. Even like 20 plus years ago, it's like creeper vibes. So this is something that we've all lived through, so I can ask you about this. How do you think the pandemic has changed the business for the best or for the worst? Because some good things have come out of it too.
I don't know. I mean, everybody's still navigating. I just got headshots on Friday, and we're still trying to navigate the testing, the mask, the situation with the makeup artist and all that stuff. For me personally, though, I felt that the pandemic actually, and being in lockdown with myself, I feel like I grew a lot. I got into TikTok, which I'm not super into right now, but I was for a second. And there's something about the silliness of it that it was like, this doesn't matter, and it just kind of taught me a little bit more how to have fun again. Mm-hmm. Because it's not like TikToks or auditions. It's not like TikToks, nobody cares.
You're just making it for the sake of making it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was doing it just to create, and I felt good by creating. And yeah, I lost weight. I changed my hair, my look. And so it's like, I don't know, I just went through a whole kind of transformative kind of a thing over the pandemic. And I'm really excited about the upcoming opportunities and getting back into the game since things are opening up again.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, you can get to work on your own things. So
Mm-hmm.
many people started projects. Like I did a Zoom short film, and it was like just to do something, just to get together with your friends, because they're chomping at the bit too, and they can't go outside, they can't do anything, you can't get equipment, you can't go to locations. So
a little bit more creativity as well.
You're kind of forced to. You're kind of like, I got to use what I got.
Mm-hmm.
Costumes are just whatever's in your closet, props are just in your house, so your
Mm-hmm.
apartment. So there probably will be a few people watching this that are either already filmmakers, or they're wannabe or aspiring filmmakers.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this. What do you recommend for those people that are trying to transition from the world of like do-it-yourself short films to like feature films? And if you have any advice about that.
Honestly, that's kind of where I'm at right now. So I'm sort of trying to navigate these waters as well. I mean, I've done things like Sideways and Onania Club, which is Tom Six. So it's like I've worked with big people, but honestly, I don't know. The last 6 months, I would say I've really made a push to try and do that transition. So with new agent, new headshots, stuff like that, to see where that takes me. And I want to create my own stuff still, but I want it to be good. I want it to be that next level.
Right.
So as for advice, you just can't quit. I mean, honestly, that's the thing. I think the pandemic weeded out a lot of people who couldn't maintain living here, or they just were like, oh, screw it, I'm done. So I think persistence and dedication are huge.
Nice. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, and be nice to people, like, because if you're nice to them and they see your work ethic, and they're gonna want to work with you later.
Right.
Like my people for 9 Ways to Hell, I have like so many good people that I know are gonna do well and create, and so it's like I'm keeping you in the back of my mind, and people will keep you in the back of their mind.
Oh yeah, and just from talking to other people, even just through the podcast, it seems like the baseline for a lot of people is just keep working, even if it is short films or commercials or when I say that, I mean obviously anybody would love to book a national commercial, but even like local student film stuff just for projects or for their university or whatever, because the more you work, you'll keep working, you'll want to work, and you won't have like a long layoff. I think the big stumbling block a lot of people run into, at least since the pandemic started, is even if like you're working on short films, it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna do this thing, and it's got to film from like a Friday night to like a Monday morning. I've got the actors. I can either feed them for 2 or 3 days or pay them. And a lot of people, and it's like, people like yourself who are in the union, it's like, well, this is my job, and I need to get paid. And people are like, we've got Cheez-Its and Capri Sun, oh, nothing, And that's unfortunately in the last 2 years with so many people getting laid off. And like you were saying, so many people leaving town. And it's just, I mean, I think I speak for myself and for a lot of other people where it's just the more adventurous people that were doing like crowdsourcing and funding, people are not throwing that excess money or from their tax returns in
I tried doing that. That is a full-time job in itself. I gave up because I was like, this is a lot of work to just crowdfund it. And I would rather put that time and effort into maybe writing something else or doing my own videos or something like that, So, and I agree with you on the keep working. However, I just worked on 2 projects that I got paid for, not well, but I got paid for them. And I got fed or offered money to be fed. But they were unusable.
The projects were?
Yeah.
Ooh.
So it's just like, yes, you want to keep working, but you gotta know when your time is worth more, if that makes sense.
No, I get you. And it's like, if they're not even willing to give you footage for your reel, if it's just kind of like,
they'll give us footage. The problem is I don't want it on my reel.
is it like Blair Witch where it's like the camera's right here and you just hear heavy breathing and you see people's feet like running and stuff? That's always it's like no one can do Blair Witch again because everything that came after, people were like, well, I can just do that. I can just go get some friends in the woods and run around. But it's like, we don't care about your feet when you're running, like, and then like hold the camera or like don't have a mic like on you and on the camera because then you just hear,
oh yeah,
or it's like, we're making a snuff film here, what is going on? Like, I didn't sign up for this. But and I try to do this too. I try to say like, I'm no better than anybody else. So when I work on other people's projects, like especially if it's a short film, it's like to get stuff done. And like, we've all been in that situation where God, it just anything happens, somebody's tire blows out or something happens in a school and someone's gonna go run and pick up their kid or just anything that comes up during the day. Like, it's like, I'll stand there and I'll be a gaffer. I'll, go run and pick up food. Hey, if I'm not filming, what am I doing other than holding down a chair? And it's like, if whatever I can do to like, I'm not an expert in a lot of those behind the scenes things, but it's like, if I'm here, I'm gonna be here until whenever the scene is ready as an actor. I mean, I'm more of a writer now, but even back in the day doing more acting, it was like, just make yourself useful because people, like you were saying before, really will remember that.
Although I will say on 9 Ways to Hell, I was producer, actor. I did not write or direct a segment. My co-executive producer did the segment I was in. And I was also like a weird hybrid of a script supervisor, continuity kind of a person, because with the segments, we wanted little things, little Easter eggs in each segment throughout the whole thing. So it wasn't like, go do your thing. We were like, okay, we want to make sure you have this flyer in it or the snake motif or, so it was a lot to think about on set in addition to acting. So I will say that on a set where I'm just an actor, it's very refreshing. I'm like, I don't have to do like 5 different jobs. I can sit here and just go over my lines. This is amazing.
Like, what? Am I even pumped? What's happening?
Do you need something? Are you sure?
Are you sure? But I've also been on sets, and it's not really fun to talk about, but where there are people that are just like, I'm only here to do this. Don't ask me. Don't look at me. Don't make eye contact. I need my bagel a certain way. Like, we didn't have bagels, and they're like, and it's just like, all I can say is, don't be like that. Don't be like that caged off
somebody
person
who people want to work with.
Right. Don't be the person on the pedestal. And you know, being on
Mhm.
their phone and they're just like, this is so important. Like, well, Fluffy needs 9 different kinds of shampoo, you know. um, so obviously you've done quite a bit, but let me ask you, is there anything that you've always wanted to try? It could be, movie, or it could be something else that you haven't done yet that you want to do in the next couple of years.
Um, I still really, there's a web series that that I sort of wrote with somebody, and that was what I tried to crowdfund for. So I'd love to get that off the ground once I have some cash to pay people more than Capri Suns and Cheez-Its. And I would really, really like to be really, how do I put this? I really, as an actor, I really want to be put through the ringer in a horror film. So I have been a little bit, but like, like the really like final girl, messy, like
blood, scratches, bruises,
Mhm.
mud in your hair all over, clothes ripped, looked like you
that,
had a black eye. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. And somewhere down the line, once I'm consistently working actor, I want to maybe pop onto Broadway at one
Oh.
point. I don't want to live in New York, but I'll pop
You're
into
like,
Broadway.
for the run of the show, I'll have my own apartment on Central Park West.
Yes, just I'll come in for the show.
Hey, I mean, it's all doable, right?
Mhm.
I mean, I've thought about, writing plays and stuff, and it's just, I think now is not the time for plays, just because I could write it, but it would be, to me, it would be a waste of time right now for the next couple of years, because I think that the patrons are just not going to come for probably another year or two. I mean, I know that there are shows,
Yeah.
even stage shows in LA, but the people that used to go all the time, it's like half full or a third full, and they
The,
live
I
or die by those ticket sales.
I'm going to see Hadestown this weekend, so I'm kind of curious to see how crowded that's going to be. I'm also trying to get tickets for Moulin Rouge at the Pantages, but they're not even opening the mezzanine tickets during the
Yeah,
week because they want
yeah.
that stuff to be sold first.
I
So
think any big name show like your Wickeds or anything like that, producers, whatever, that's got like a huge following, or basically anything that's based on a movie, which is kind of sad that that's kind of where it's going. It's like,
there's so many of them.
I know, but it's like, that's why they do it, because they know they have that guaranteed advertising, because people will hear like Grease, and even though it was a play and then a movie and then it's a play again, people are like, oh, I know those songs, and so they'll go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, it's just in my gut, I feel like year or two for plays. I mean, if I was going to do my own thing, to go, yeah, just go to the show, go to the Hollywood Bowl, they do cool stuff all the time. But yeah, I don't know, I haven't even been to a concert in the last couple of years. Have you been and like seen a crowd, and what it's like?
No, I've only been to theaters, smaller theaters in North Hollywood, and that was when prior to the mask mandate being lifted. So we had our masks on in the theaters for those anyway, and they were small.
It's so funny, I read a couple of articles with pretty well-known actors saying that they were kind of miffed when the mask mandate lifted, because they would go out with their masks on and no one would ever bother them. No one would know. Like, I just read, I think it was Vanity Fair, that when the stuff was going down, that like Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen like went on a hike like Runyon Canyon, and they were talking about like how they were going to do their Obi-Wan Kenobi like Darth Vader stuff, and they just looked like two dudes just on a hike with a mask on. You wouldn't know, and their voices are muffled. So
Mm-hmm. They can still wear them. I still wear mine in places like grocery stores and stuff.
yeah, I mean, people do. Yeah, it's not like the old school thing where like, oh, don't look at me, I've got my sunglasses and my baseball cap and my ponytail. I'm famous. You've seen
Mhm.
that around town.
Oh yeah.
Um, Let me ask you this. How important do you feel that social media and online communities are for modern filmmaking?
It's funny you're asking these questions because these are the ones that I'm trying to figure out as well. And social, I think it mattered more before there were tons of bots to do the work for us. Now it's like everybody's trying to do it. Everybody's has so many like fake followers, and so I don't know that it still matters as much for people who aren't trying to get into the influencer market.
Right.
That space. That is something completely separate that I am not trying to do. And that's kind of why I stepped back from TikTok a bit, just because I was like, wait, why am I putting so much effort into this? Let's see where else I'm gonna, and I just want to put more focus on the headshots, on submitting for things that are the level up from social, just because I think it's an influencer space. Yes, you can get things from being very famous influencer or YouTuber, but that's a whole job.
It's like I've interviewed people on the show, and more than one person has said, like, to do that kind of thing, you really need to have like a dedicated person to do your social media, a dedicated person to do website construction, a dedicated person behind the camera to film you doing random things like here I am at the opening of the newest malt shop, and you're like, and it's like,
editing.
Who has time for this stuff? I don't know. I guess people do, because people do it. But I'm also seeing that and I don't want to be ageist, but it is an age bracket of like people like 22 and younger probably still live at home, don't have to pay rent, don't have to pay car payment or whatever, don't have to make food or get their own groceries, and they're just like, this is hard. And I'm like, no, digging ditches is hard. Like, what you're doing is setting up like a light on a cell phone, and you're just like, oh.
And you're unboxing some clothes,
right? And they're just like, how will I ever recover from this? I'm gonna need to go get a chai latte. Come with, fans.
and take a picture.
Oh my God, there's so many, and I shouldn't say bad things about YouTube because I'm doing this on YouTube, but there's so many channels where it's just literally somebody has different cameras set up like in their car, in their apartment, and then they have that selfie stick, or someone just filming them like their friend. And after a while, I'm like, if I'm that friend, I'm like, can I do a shot? I'm doing a lot of work. And they're like, no.
Yeah.
We've seen that all. So I've got this written down here, which I think is pretty funny because I wasn't sure about a question. So I just said like dancing and singing.
Yes.
So whatever you want to say about that.
Well, I mentioned I started with tap dancing. I currently teach Zumba. So I teach Zumba at 24 Hour Fitness, and I just started a new YouTube channel for that. So that has some of my choreography and dances on there. That's kind of where I'm at in terms of dancing. In terms of singing, we just started a karaoke league last night. Was week 1. It's called LA Karaoke League, and there's like 6 teams. Yeah, there's 6 teams, and there's 3 rounds each night, 2 solos and a group number, and we go head to head, and we compete tournament style. And that just started last night. So we had our first night last night, and we won 2 out of the 3 rounds. What?
Nice. Congrats. That's really cool. Have you ever thought about singing? I don't want to, well, I guess the word I was going to say was professionally, but I guess more of like as like on a stage in terms of like with a band or like an open mic kind of situation?
I'm more of a, I like doing karaoke, and I like musical theater, which is a live band, but I'm not like singer, pop star, singer, songwriter. That's not like my thing. So I have auditioned for American Idol twice, like
Whoa.
back in the day. I think it was twice. I think so. I auditioned for that a long time ago, but I've never wanted to be a singer. I just want to do like more than just that. I know you can, and I hate saying just, but you know, I wanted to focus on film and TV.
No.
Singing is a bonus.
Okay. So would you say any of those attributes are more like hobby territory, or versus like, if I could do acting then the full time and not have to audition and be like, if you were like a co-lead on a series or something, you would still do like the singing as like the hobby and the dancing as the hobby? Or
I can't not dance. If you see me waiting in line at the grocery store, I'm probably dancing. I'm probably just like fussing with my feet. Like, I can't not dance or have music or sing, you know. I used to go to karaoke every week back, a while ago. And that was enough, you know? So, but like I said, when I'm a household name and working consistently, I'm going to go on Broadway and do a musical and not have to audition for it, because they'll be like, oh no, we know you.
Very cool. I actually did hear that there was, I don't know if it's in New York, I think it might be smaller market, there's an Evil Dead musical.
I've seen it and I almost produced it.
That's awesome.
It was like, oh gosh, how long ago was that? 7-8 years ago, maybe. I had a theater. It was free for me. I had a theater. It had a trap door, which would have been great for the cellar. And I could not get the rights to it because it was on tour.
Oh.
So mad. But yeah.
Well, I mean, talk to me off camera. I've got an idea that's like a horror comedy musical. Maybe we'll talk about it. But I have a couple songs, but we'll talk later. So
but yes, I do know about it and I love it and I want to be in it someday.
Awesome. I mean, how could you not? It's just so ridiculous. So what's coming up next for you here?
Well, next, I just got my headshots on Friday, my new headshots. So I'm hoping that I should get the proofs back today. So I'm hoping that will snowball into more opportunities. I do have an agent, so I'm hoping that the new headshots kind of kick things up. 9 Ways just got picked up and is streaming on Typhoon on demand. So that just happened like yesterday. And then I'm trying to write, and I'm working
like
on
short films or
monologues. I have a couple screenplay ideas, but I used to write reviews for haunted houses and attractions and stuff like that. But I'm not a dialogue writer. So I'm like the idea person, and I want to find people to like write with me.
Well, I'm a sort of professional writer. If you want to talk off camera, we can figure something out. So these are not my books, they're just books. All right, so
did you ask me about Evil Dead because you saw him?
Maybe.
This is my horror stuff right here.
That's so cool.
So I painted that. There's a knife in this flower. There's a knife in there.
Oh, awesome.
And then we got him, and we got some Stephen King books down there.
Well, real quick, my Stephen King joke, which I think is hilarious because I'm a Stephen King fan too, is at some point he has got to stop writing books about haunted cars, because he's got like 4. Like, everybody loves Christine. Like, Christine was amazing. Like, walk away.
He did a short about a car that I just read, well, recently, that I remember. Yeah, I don't remember what that was called though. Yeah,
I mean, I guess maybe like after every like decade, like the changing of the guard at the publishing house, like, what have you got? And he's like, about a haunted car. Like, brilliant. And then somebody else is like, he's earning that 3. They're like, damn it. We'll take it. When can we have it? All right, so need to kind of wrap things up here. Sadly, I've got to run here in a little bit, but I wanted to give you a chance to use this as a platform to kind of plug your social media, let people know if
Ooh.
you're going to be on any other podcasts, or where they can find your work on YouTube, anything like that.
So for acting, and I have my acting reels. I have some monologues that I actually did write and perform on my YouTube channel, and it's all Lacey Rae, Lacey Rae. 17 is Lacey Rae 17 is my social. So Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and probably Facebook. And then my website is lacyrae.com. And my Zumba dance channel is Lacey Rae Fitness.
Man, you are everywhere and you're all about it. You have such a great aura, and I don't know. I just think that people generally I get the vibe that they love to work with you, and you're just like a go-getter. So I think that's really great.
Thank you. I really appreciate that, because I really try.
I mean, it's, to me, just from what I've read and seen, it's just a matter of time. I predict, like, maybe not this year because things are still in like the opening up phase, but it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when.
Thank you.
Well,
That really means a lot, for real, though.
No worries. Thank you so much for being on the show. And hopefully when people watch this, maybe you'll get some gigs or make some connections.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me. And it was lovely speaking with you, and anytime for horror.
Nice. All right. Stay in touch. All right. You have a great, wonderful weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye.